This is the Calicat's turn. This is a review of Inside Out 2. The sequel just came out today. Went to the 1:15 showing. The cast that consisted of full house consisting of mostly kids. But yeah, there was some from, I think there was one or two from families from the camp, the summer camp that happened to go there as well. Yeah. So anyway, so we won't go into that, but so we have a sequel to the hit movie from about 10 years ago, the original. They took the premise that they got a hold of at the end of the first one and went with it, and had puberty happen for the character. Similar in style and premise to Turning Red, which had a similar premise. Another Pixar movie where the puberty. They had at one point there's a dark secret that's in there. They were Pete Docter is now they're over there. Pete Docter with an E, Doctor, but the John Lasseter controversy stuff that happened, the original guy and all the other ones. But before, they make fun of that in the movie. There's a scene where they're clearly implying they're making fun of John Lasseter and also corporate and stuff. Kind of like South Park made fun of the Pandaverse thing, but in this one they went there. The Pandaverse thing didn't go as far as this movie did, with that corporate scene where they're trying to do the emotions back and forth. They didn't directly. Lasseter was the inferred Lasseter was out and inferred that animators had issues and that you can look all that up. I'm not going to go into the Lasseter controversy at all because that's not part of the movie. It's just that they kind of reference it. They also kind of reference the writer's strike, even though that had been relatively new at that point. So this movie was in production probably for like 5 years. And during the writer's strike, of course, they couldn't do anything, so they were just finishing it up. And now it is, a sequel. I think they also replaced 2 of the characters. I'm not sure. I think they had to replace the anger guy with someone else. I'm not sure. I'm not going to check. I'm not sure. I think that the original guy passed away, so they had to replace him with somebody else. I could be wrong. It could be somebody else that I was thinking of. And so the basic story is Mighty Ducks. Basically, it's the remember that Emmy Lewis show, Mighty Ducks. It's basically that. Riley goes to hockey to the school, the Foghorns. She's living in San Francisco. They probably wouldn't be called the Foghorns, but that's still funny. But it's a kids group, so maybe it's called that. I think actually the San Francisco group is the same as the up here is the same as the Mighty Ducks movie. I think it is. But yeah, so or is that up north? I think it's supposed to be up north. Mighty Ducks. Yeah, it's up north for it's not. But it's a kids thing, so maybe in the movie, maybe it's not that exactly. It doesn't matter. It's a cartoon. Anyway, so we have everyone's favorite potentially schizophrenic character. Everyone else in the movie is schizophrenic too, and they have different personalities running around their head. We don't see how the coach lady's internal in mind thing going on. We don't see we see one of the friends briefly, but no, not so they're schizo too. They do a reference Joy being demented at one point, which is kind of funny. They also have a nostalgia character who's an old lady similar to my late mother who shows up, does nostalgia things. It wasn't her, but it reminded me of her. So yeah, that was kind of funny. So to see that character, she totally would have played that character. But yeah, so there's like a hockey tournament thing, but it's a summer hockey camp. She goes to the hockey camp. It actually takes place for about 3 days, 3 or 4 days in the movie, and her she hits puberty at the beginning of it. So there's like this stuff going on behind the scenes in her head, and different things are happening. her sense of self, her consciousness gets stolen by the puberty guys and thrown away. So they put in their own version, and then good thoughts and bad thoughts are going on. It's all very science fiction-y, fantasy, weird kind of stuff. But if she's bipolar, it makes all the sense. And, it makes perfect sense if she's bipolar, or schizophrenic, or both. And the anxiety kid. Oh my goodness, it's some interesting new characters there. They have the embarrassment, who's sort of Big Tim from Pine Hill. They have Sadness, who is basically Amanda from Church, Amanda Ramsey from years ago. That's basically who she is. But yeah, a number of other people. Yeah, I was surprised that we never did a Halloween camp thing with her dressed as Sadness and me dressed as the frantic guy. It would have been funny. Never happened. Did do Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, though. We did do that. Except we both were Shaggy. That was back in 2012. We were both Shaggy. She was supposed to be Thelma, but she wasn't. She dressed as Shaggy. Dope. Oh, wrong character. Orange shirt on Thelma. Oh well. Anyway, so we have green. This is the orange one here. Like, look at this one. Anyway, so we have neither here nor there. So the packed house seating audience. The girls in the story idolize this older high schooler who is a girl who plays on this other team that they're going to join, the Red Hawks or something, and they're it's entirely platonic though. I suspect the right wingers are going to freak out, go like, oh my God, she must be a girl and bi. No. I suspect they're freaking out over this scene. However, the movie sidesteps the obvious tropes. It doesn't actually go there. So it goes there more than South Park Pandaverse did. But it doesn't actually say Riley is bisexual at all in the movie. They just imply it. They don't actually say it. She just really, really likes this other friend. And you consider that the character is like supposed to be just hitting 13 and puberty and all that. That she wouldn't necessarily have that kind of infatuation yet necessarily. Yeah, it wouldn't be. It would just be like, yeah, she's idolizing them, not in love with them, not literally sexually. It's not in there like that. I thought maybe at first they were going to do the trope of have a villain and have the villain be the older high school girl who uses her to steal the logbook. There's a logbook scene, but no, she does that on her own because they trick her to try to steal the logbook, and then with the game, it was probably a trick. The door was left unlocked to the office, so I'm thinking like did the boss lady, coach lady, know the girls were going to do that? So she left it there, probably. And she know she was, leave it here, and they'd read it and gossip about her. She probably was on to them, but yeah, but yeah, and she doesn't discuss it with her parents afterward. They do the Pulp Fiction Reservoir Dogs ending, in a sense, because it's not the result of the story; it's the journey to get there. Well, so they also a little bit the sideways ending. Some less Reservoir Dogs, more the sideways ending. Did it happen or did it not? Did she get the championship or didn't she? Entirely, yeah. I guess. And joy becomes sad, which is funny at one point. The anxiety is hilarious. Seems like one of the Silly Kelly characters like in this movie being anxiety. But yes, it isn't. But it actually. You have this whole premise that the psychological ramifications of the story are amusing. They even joke about that in the movie. There's several different versions of like, there's a layer of jokes that go over the kids' heads. The kids are watching it, but the parents are like, "Oh my god," stuff like that. Like, oh shit, oh no. Several psychology jokes in there. Kind of like in The Good Dinosaur, there were like adult jokes in there. The kids didn't get it so much, but the adults did. But yeah. And of course, cow poop was in it. One of the dinosaurs. Not really, but he sounded like him. As a dinosaur. Enough so that they let us see 8 minutes of it at Disneyland in 2015. But that's another movie. That's not this movie. So we have, I'm going to try to stay on track. So we have a story that brings the cast and crew together. Once again, the base emotions have to go out and save the day and find the consciousness kind of thing and bring it back before the other version of it, like, have to have a nervous breakdown during the final game. She's that messed up in the head, though. Oh no. The two friends are moving away in the story. He's going to go to another school, and they make the high school kind of look like the one in Back to the Future, which was funny. But yeah, yeah, but it's not. So yeah, in Minnesota is mistaken for Michigan because of course it is. Yeah, but then later on they say Minnesota. You can tell because somebody from Minnesota and Fargo and that kind of thing is going to sound like this. If somebody from Michigan is going to sound a little like this. So anyway, it's going to be a little different. And what is like a Chicago accent, Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan? It kind of sound like this. It's that Canadian influence up there. More so than Minnesota. No. So, yeah, sure. It hits all the feels. It hits all the feels, especially the way it's structured. I would say as a sequel, it's an extremely good sequel. It's not as good as the first movie, but it almost nails the landing, I think, in terms of... And in this case, in this movie, I don't mind the ending is a little ambiguous, because then, I don't mind that in this case, having the sideways ending, because you kind of gather from her last expression and scene in the movie that, okay, everything's going to work out, and kind of get that. The kid next to me on the side was not having that, though. Did it happen or didn't it? Ha ha ha. I didn't know the kid, but the mother's all, I don't know. Well, she smiled, so it probably happened. Yeah, I'm sure the right-wingers are going to freak out. They'll be like, oh my god, they're suggesting they're woke and lesbians. They didn't see the first one, apparently. If they're saying that. They didn't see the first one, if they're saying that, because it's implicitly implied in the first one as well. Yeah, sure, she has... interest in dudes. She's probably bi, because some of her thought people are guys and some of them are girls. So she's probably bi. Yeah, she likes dudes and likes girls. And what's funny is so does the mother and so does the father. They have different characters in their heads too. So even though they're married and straight, they're not. So a movie for the LGBT rights of June. That's the month. That's this month. Yeah, for that type of thing, it works too. They can infer the LGBTQ friendly thing that the movie is also that, because they can infer it the other way. They can say like, oh yeah, it's totally a queer movie. It's queer coded, definitely. But yeah, they do not literally say they're converting the kids. No, that's not what happens at all. No, it's this person's mind when they're doing their things. It's set up. It's fine. There's touching moments. There's emotional moments. I didn't have any Kleenex. I should have brought the Kleenex in there. So I'm like, oh God, no. There's going to be blubbering in this movie. I wasn't the only one though, because no. I wasn't the only guy blubbering either and crying. They go out to everybody goes out to the men's room. The guy's like sneaking out, like big giant Mexican guys are like, going out. They're like up against the mirror. They're all like, "Oh, the movie." Yeah, that movie was wrecked. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, the movie was wrecked us. One of those guys was like, "Man, I was crying more than my kid." It was fucked up. It was pretty funny. But yeah, they were. But yeah, this is a good movie. That if it gives you an emotional response, even though they kind of phoned it in with the music. The music does that in Pixar movie. They trick you with the music. Which means that if you played the weepy cry music somewhere else where it was inappropriate, it'd be hilarious because people would just be instantly like, so sobbing everywhere. Yeah, so no, so it was really good. It was a good movie. It had yes. I can't pinpoint an exact scene that was like that, but the build up to the humor and the jokes and the stuff. I don't think Pete Docter directed it. I think he just produces the whole thing. I don't know exactly who directed it. It had a similar bent to the second Toy Story movie, which had some scenes in it that were like, oh my gosh. So, yeah. Yeah. And not quite the third. Really, the third was different. Not the fourth. Yeah, it was similar to some of the other Pixar movies in tone. Yes, so if you want to interpret as LGBTQ friendly, it is, but it is coded, but it is not offensive in any way. There were some people complaining on the other internet, people, trolls. The Pixar movies don't know how to show, so they didn't see Turning Red. They didn't see this one. They don't know how to show that puberty thing. This movie does quite well. They nailed it. So they thought Turning Red was off because they turned into giant panda people, I should say, kaijiu, giant pandas. But in this one, it's down to earth and it's a hockey game. It's a hockey camp movie. It's the Mighty Ducks, but sad in parts, basically. That's basically what it is. But yeah, there's the Mighty Ducks isn't sad, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna borrow from something, borrow from another Disney movie like that. But yeah, it was all fine. It was perfectly fine little movie, cute little movie, very very cute, adorable. So. Yeah, so that's kind of it, really. I could ramble on about other stuff and other Pixar things and Pixar stuff and encounters, but I think I've already done that in reviews, so I'm not going to this time. I'm just going to give you the flat-up review, and it's really quick, and say, go out and see it. I don't want to give anything away. I told you kind of what it's about. I'm not going to do another review later on. It's a Pixar movie. The whole point is, it'd be like trying to review Up, Toy Story 4 or something. You don't really want to go into too much details. It just came out. It's gonna make a butt ton of money. It's gonna. There was an audience. It was packed. So yeah, it's gonna make money. So yeah. First big movie of the summer. It is mid-June, and this is the first big movie of the summer. This is the first animated movie of the summer to break that and break the fourth wall at a couple of times in the movie. There's a Dora the Explorer reference thing. Well, it's not supposed to be. It's not Dora the Explorer. They ripped it off. The little pouch thing has like a Dora the Explorer tools in it. It's clearly and Blue's Clues. It kind of combined the guy's kind of like bluey, and Blue's Clues, but he's got a pouch like Dora, backpack. So it's like, so that's in there. It's weird. Yeah. So he's a little dog dude. I think he's a dog. Yeah. So Blue's Clues Dora, the guy. But yeah. And go and see the live action Dora the Explorer movie. It was good too. Anyway, so yeah, so believe it or not, that was actually a good movie. Young Tomb Raider, basically. Yeah, as a insane college lady, kind of similar in that she's nuts and she's just talking like randomly to things that aren't there. And Riley, the character of Riley, probably in the story is probably nuts. She's just nuts. So, if she did, change his name to Harley Quinn, like in Batman. Nuts. That's good. They did use the trope of putting braces on her teeth, just to straighten her teeth, to do that trope in there. There's a scene in there. Which they did on Rugrats, all grown up too back in the day, and I've seen a lot of cartoons. We need to put braces on Chucky. That'd be funny. The kid Chucky. But yeah, so yeah, this one it does all the feels. It's fine. It's very good. I would say, and I know this is a little early on, but I would say that this is one of the best of the year so far. And it's definitely up there with nominations for animated movie of the year already, because it's just that good. It's a sequel though, so it'd be animated movie sequel of the year. So there could still be one that's an original one, I could say. I'm not sure whether the volleyball movie is necessarily animated movie of the year original either, because that was also a sequel. That was a sequel. That was part 2. Also, another sport movie. There's sport-themed movies going on. Probably because sports camps are going on. Yeah, so, anyway. So, yeah. Inside Out 2, which is called Inside Out 2. Yeah. And they aged up Riley to make her look 13. And so, anyways, and I don't know why they would combine that with the high schooler, but it's a fantasy cartoon film. It's fine. If there's anything goofy in it, it's fine. Although there was another one called Envy. This is kind of funny. There's clearly Marlo Fahu playing that guy. I'm envy. That was envy and jealousy. Some of those weren't technically emotions, though. Those are like part of the id and the ego, the superego. They're not necessarily flat out emotions. Yeah, that's kind of odd. Oh well. In the world of that story, it makes sense, yeah. Especially if she's crazy and she needs to be on her meds. That's probably what it is. Anyway, Inside Out 2.